make a face-off with you. Are you ready to go to the ring with Jake Paul? Sergey, are you ready to make this fight?
I'm ready to fight with Jake Paul.
On MMA rules? Yes, I'm ready, but I need to rest.
Зачекай, хай не поспілкується.
We heard that you were challenging Usyk to a street fight in MMA. Is that true?
Well, yeah, he called me out to do MMA.
We're talking about heavyweight Usyk, who beat Tyson Fury.
Yeah, he wants to fight me in MMA, and our teams are talking, and I'm interested in it.
That'd be huge.
To be honest, that scares me more than any of the other shit. That scares me more than fighting Anthony Joshua for sure.
But you know Usyk's a wrestler.
I think, yeah, he's like an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah,
or
he
some
knows how to
shit.
wrestle.
Whoa, Olympic wrestler?
Usyk's a dog. He knows how to wrestle, he knows how to fight, he knows how to kill.
Am I seeing this right now? Did Oleksandr Usyk just call Jake Paul out, not in a boxing fight, but in an MMA cage? The pride of Ukraine, two-division, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? We all know he got judo and wrestling and Muay Thai experience. Woohoo! You guys, he wants to fight Jake Paul? Bro, my goodness, man, what's going on?
I'm very feel.
I am too.
Oleksandr Usyk versus Jake Paul. Why this feud just got serious? Oleksandr Usyk has never been a man of theatrics. Calm, composed, and often smiling outside the ring, he transforms into a ruthless tactician once the bell sounds. So when Jake Paul threw out a wild challenge for an MMA fight against the reigning heavyweight champion, it was only a matter of time before Usyk fired back, and when he did, his response shook both the boxing and MMA worlds. Soon I'll close the book on boxing. After that, I'll be waiting for you in the cage. Let's see if you've got the balls or just a hunger for hype. Those words weren't just a reply. They were a warning. Usyk rarely wastes words, but when he speaks, the combat sports world listens. His message to Jake Paul was clear. This isn't YouTube, this is war. Jake Paul bites back, but reality hits hard. Jake Paul, never one to back down from trash talk.
Oh, he's one of the best of all time. Like, seriously, silence everyone. That's why I said to him, zip it and throw the key away.
You weren't calling him out then, no? He was?
A little bit.
Fight him?
In MMA.
Okay.
I want to see Usyk in MMA. Our teams have already been talking about it.
Quickly responded. The YouTuber turned boxer claimed he was ready for Usyk and demanded the smoke. Bold words, but boldness isn't enough when stepping into a world-class fighter's domain. Calling out Usyk for an MMA fight is like walking into a burning...
Proof will be in the pudding. I don't believe... By the way, I've said that I think Jake Paul is better than some fighters. But I don't believe you will ever get close.
...house with a bucket of gasoline. Usyk's pedigree, Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight champion, unified heavyweight king, and a master tactician who's toppled giants like Anthony Joshua. Jake's pedigree wins over faded MMA fighters and undersized opponents. Usyk's mindset is forged through years of brutal training and high-level competition. Jake, on the other hand,
delivers frosty response to Jake Paul. Ambitious 5-year plan. Oleksandr Usyk insists he is dead serious about fighting Jake Paul, but wonders whether his rivals feel the same. The pair did face off in Wembley Stadium, I remember that. Earlier this year. Usyk is expected to have one more professional bout, after which he will be free to pursue a crossover clash. Yes, he is considering a crossover clash with Jake Paul, even though Jake Paul is a boxer. Well, wait till you hear this, right?
Thrives on hype, headlines, and social media buzz. Against Usyk, slogans and Instagram posts won't save him. Eddie Hearn's harsh reality check promoter Eddie Hearn, who's guided some of boxing's biggest stars, didn't mince words. Jake Paul will never get close to being a world-class fighter, Hearn declared. While he acknowledged Jake's dedication and improvement, Hearn quickly drew a line. Yes, Jake can beat average fighters, but against Usyk, the gap isn't just wide, it's a canyon. Hearn went further, warning that a clash with Usyk wouldn't just be a loss, it would be a disaster. Usyk wouldn't just beat Jake, he'd expose him, stripping away the illusion of competitiveness and showing the world the stark difference between a serious champion and a social media fighter. Liam Goff.
I actually think Jake Paul's not a bad little fighter. I actually think he's not a bad novice. He's just that a novice. I've been flipping and flopping. I thought, I'm not going to...
I'll be waiting. Boxing commentator Liam Goff zeroed in on Usyk's chilling statement. I'll be waiting. To Goff, those 3 words weren't just talk. They were a promise, proof that Usyk was serious about meeting Jake in the cage. The real question isn't whether Usyk is willing, it's whether Jake has the courage. For a man who thrives on hype, the idea of standing across from Usyk isn't a payday, it's a nightmare. Goff's takeaway was simple. Jake can play games with influencers, but against Usyk, games end in humiliation. Johnny Nelson. The messy comparison. Former cruiserweight champion Johnny Nelson tried to be diplomatic at first. Jake's not a bad little fighter, but then came the hammer blow. Nelson compared Jake to a Sunday League footballer, standing next to Lionel Messi. The skill gap between Jake and Usyk isn't just big, it's astronomical. Nelson's message wasn't pure insult.
Yeah, I want the smoke. I want the smoke. I love a challenge. I think I can take more punches than that.
Well, we got an exclusive there. Jake Paul wants Oleksandr Usyk. We'd love to see it. Thank you, Jake.
Hey, let's run it. MMA, boxing, whatever he wants.
Thank you very much, Jake. Top man. Right, cameraman, if you just...
It was reality. A fight between them wouldn't be entertainment. It would be execution. Jake would crumble within minutes, his bravado evaporating under Usyk's relentless pressure. Jake Paul keeps talking, but words won't win fights. Despite the warnings, Jake kept chanting his favorite catchphrase, "I want the smoke." To him, it's marketing. To Usyk, it's meaningless noise. Jake talks about challenges, about chasing legacy, but Usyk isn't a prop for promotion. His punches aren't sound bites. They're artillery shells designed to break men. Jake has built a career calling out names for clout, but Usyk isn't clout. He's destiny, and destiny doesn't forgive arrogance. Eddie Hearn's fatherly warning. Hearn doubled down, almost sounding like a father trying to save a reckless kid.
I think there's absolutely no way he can beat a world champion and become world champion. But I will say he's improving a lot. He's dedicated to the sport. I don't know how good he is because he hasn't really faced a real fighter yet. It's not his fault. He signed to fight Tommy Fury.
Absolutely no way Jake can beat a world champion. Dedication isn't dominance. Improvement isn't greatness. Facing Usyk isn't a test. It's like stepping in front of a freight train. Usyk doesn't just beat you, Hearn warned. He runs you over. He breaks you down until there's nothing left. Carl Froch. Brutal honesty. Former champion Carl Froch, known for his blunt style, didn't bother with diplomacy. Get flattened. Game over. Piss off. Froch has been through wars. He knows what separates contenders from pretenders. And to him, Jake Paul calling out Usyk isn't bravery. It's suicide. Usyk is an elite technician who thrives under pressure. Jake, meanwhile, has fought circus-style matchups designed to protect his image. Froch's prediction was simple. If Jake steps in with Usyk, he'll be flattened, finished, forgotten. George Groves. Why is Usyk even entertaining? This former world champion George Groves took a different stance. His frustration.
Now, Jake Paul has got to think about what he's doing next. If you're that good and you think you're clever, why don't you fight Usyk? Oleksandr Usyk. He'll fight you. Let's see how that works out for you. Get fucking flattened.
Wasn't aimed at Jake. It was aimed at Usyk. Why is Usyk lowering himself like this? Groves asked. To Groves, this type of fight feels beneath a generational talent like Usyk. He questioned why one of the greatest technical boxers of this era would even acknowledge someone like Jake Paul. The final word: Jake Paul thrives on attention. It's his business model. But calling out Oleksandr Usyk for an MMA fight crosses a dangerous line. This isn't about hype anymore. It's about survival. Usyk's warning was crystal clear. I'll be waiting. For Jake Paul, those words aren't just a challenge. They're a countdown to a reckoning. In the ring, in the cage, or anywhere else. Against Usyk, games end and reality begins. Oleksandr Usyk versus Jake Paul. Heritage versus hype. When George Groves criticized Oleksandr
Usyk lowering himself. The greatest of great champions have a row with Jake Paul.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think there was a lot of noses put out of joint when, you know, maybe people in my situation who are ex-fighters who think, I could get the Jake Paul fight. And then turns out he's picked, you know, the former lightweight champion of the world who's still boxing. It's like, because he's bounced from Joshua.
Usyk for even acknowledging Jake Paul. His frustration was clear. Usyk had just conquered Anthony Joshua, unified the heavyweight titles, and carved his name into boxing history. To Groves, trading barbs with a YouTuber felt like royalty mingling with clowns. But beneath Groves's criticism lies another truth. Usyk doesn't move without purpose. While other fighters chase quick paydays with Jake Paul, Usyk seems determined to send a message. This isn't about lowering himself to Jake's level. It's about proving that no circus act, no social media empire, can overshadow true boxing royalty. If the fight ever happens, Groves may not approve, but the result would be undeniable. Jake wouldn't just lose, he would be humiliated. The Dreamer versus the Destroyer. Journalist Gareth A. Davis described Jake Paul as a dreamer, a man bold enough to believe he could shock the world by defeating Usyk. It's dramatic, sure, but reality tells a different story. Davis reminded fans of Usyk's staggering
Oh no, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I want it to happen here. All the odds stacked against me. I believe that I will beat him and shock the world and create one of the biggest.
Resume. Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight champion, unified heavyweight king. He's beaten Anthony Joshua, outclassed Derek Chisora, and outmaneuvered every style thrown at him. Jake, in contrast, is barely 5 years into his boxing journey. His wins faded MMA fighters and undersized boxers. The skill gap isn't just wide, it's unbridgeable. Davis called the potential bout one of the wildest episodes in boxing history, but he was blunt. Jake's defeat wouldn't shock anyone. It wouldn't be an upset, Davis said. It would be humiliation. Usyk doesn't fight for clicks or headlines. He fights for legacy. And Jake's fairy tale, it would end violently. Duke McKenzie's chilling warning. Former champion Duke McKenzie offered the harshest reality check of all. This isn't a game, McKenzie warned. He drew a clear line between the fight business and the fight game. Jake Paul plays in the business side, chasing
that man could be hospitalized and he may not. It could end really, really badly for him.
What does that mean then? Does that mean that whoever decides to put on this fight has to be a little bit careful about how they do it, or is
it depends in terms of the fight. I mean, you can have a choreographed exhibition with Mike Tyson on a Zimmer frame, and everyone gets paid. You can have him fighting Julio Cesar Chavez, who was disengaged and
out attention and spectacle. Usyk lives in the fight game, where pain, pride, and survival define every moment. McKenzie didn't sugarcoat it. Jake wouldn't just lose. He could end up in the hospital, not because of a single knockout punch, but due to systematic destruction. Usyk isn't a wild brawler. He's surgical. He dissects opponents jab by jab, round by round, until they collapse under exhaustion and